Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we will create an obstacle generator. Before the generator, we need to create a couple obstacles that our generator will instance into our level scenes. The player will have to dodge these generated objects so as to not strike out. Let's create a new character body 2D scene. We'll call it Rock. We're going to add a sprite and then go to our assets, art, and obstacles. Drag the rock.png into the texture field for the sprite. We're going to save it in Scenes, Obstacles. Okay, let's add a collision shape 2D. And we're going to rename it to Shape. For now, just disable it. Let's add a visible on-screen notifier 2D. Let's rename it to Off Screen. Next, we'll add an area 2D. We're going to rename it Obstacle Area. Let's add a collision shape 2D to that area. And we'll rename it to Obstacle Area Shape. Let's add a rectangle shape. And we'll resize it just a bit. Lastly, we'll add an audio stream player. We're going to go to our Sounds folder in Assets, grab the Obstacle Impact, and drag it into the Stream property. Let's add a script to our rock. We're going to save it in Scripts, Obstacles. First, we add a constant for speed. Const speed equals 50.0. In the process function, we simply move the rock vertically in an upward motion. Let's type velocity.y minus equals speed times delta. And then we'll call move and slide. We need a way to keep memory under control, since we will be instancing many objects into the scene. With a visible on-screen notifier, we can add a signal to see if a given object has left the viewport, and if so, we can delete that object. Let's select our off-screen node and connect the screen exited signal. Here, we call QFree to remove the object from the scene. Now let's select the obstacle area and connect the area entered signal. For now, we will just pass. Go to your level 1 and instance the rock. We're going to put it in the middle of our scene at the bottom. When we run the scene, it should move from the bottom of the screen to the top. Okay, cool. It's working as expected. The obstacles in this game will all be made the same, but look different. We could create another obstacle scene entirely, but that would be inefficient. Instead, we will create an inherited obstacle scene and change the look of it. In the top left Scene tab, select New Inherited Scene. Then we'll navigate to our rock scene and select it. Let's rename the scene to Tree. Select the Sprite node, then let's navigate to our Assets, Art, and Obstacles. Go ahead and grab the small tree.png and drag it into the texture field, and then save it in the same folder as our rock. Now we can test this inherited obstacle as well. Instance the tree into our level 1 scene. And we'll place it at the bottom as well. When we run the scene, it should have the exact same behavior as our rock. Let's create a new Node 2D scene. Rename it to Obstacle Generator. Let's save it in Scenes, Generators. Let's add a timer node to the scene. And another Node 2D. We're going to rename it to Spawn Point. And then let's add a sprite to the spawn point. Navigate to Assets, Art, Objects, and drag the treestump.png into the texture field for the sprite. Finally, we will add an animation player. Rename it to Annie. We're going to create an obstacle generator in such a way that it can be used for something else like an enemy spaceship in a different game. There are many ways to go about this, but I find this method to be straightforward enough for beginners. Let's create a new animation and call it Oscillate. Set the animation length to 4 seconds. Make sure that snap at the bottom is set to 0.05 seconds. Let's select the spawn point and then go to Transform, Position. We'll set X to 16 and leave Y at 0. Let's create a new track for the position property by clicking on the little key to the right of it. Click Create. Now, let's select the 2-second mark on our animation timeline and head back to the spawn point position. We'll set X to 164 and Y to 0. We'll set looping to true, and we will also set this animation to autoplay. Let's test the animation out. It should just move from left to right. Okay, cool. Looks good. Our obstacle generator will have the ability to instance obstacle scenes randomly, and we will be able to add these scenes to an array directly in the inspector. Let's add a script to our obstacle generator. We'll save it in scripts. We're going to start off with an export variable that will be an array of packed scenes at export var obstacles array, and then pass in packed scene. Next, let's get access to our timer at onReadyVar timer equals timer. Our ready function will handle the randomization for the script. We'll call randomize, and then timer.start randf range, and we'll pass in 2.0 and 3.0 for a random first interval. Now we need a function that will instance the obstacles. Let's create a function called instance obstacles. If obstacles.isEmpty will return nothing, but this is only going to prevent an error if no obstacles are assigned. Var obstacle scene equals obstacles, and we'll pass in randi modulo obstacles.size. Var o equals obstacle scene dot instantiate. And lastly, we instance the obstacle. Var main equals get tree dot current scene. Main dot add child o. O dot global position equals spawn point dot global position. Let's go ahead and connect the timeout signal from our timer node. In the auto-generated function for the timeout signal, let's fill out the body. We're going to call instance obstacles, and then we'll set a new random time after each call. Timer.start randf range, pass in 0.2, 1.2. And these are just values that I found worked. They don't have to be exact. Let's clear the other obstacles from our level 1 scene. And then instance our obstacle generator. We can now add some scenes to the array in the properties for our obstacle generator. Click Add Element, and we'll select our rock scene. Let's add another element, and this time we'll select the tree. Let's position our obstacle generator at the bottom of the scene. And now let's test the scene. Cool. So as you can see, our obstacle generator is working just fine. It's instancing random scenes as it moves back and forth on the X coordinate. We now have an obstacle generator to make stuff the player can dodge. In the following video, we will set up the player to take damage from the obstacles.